In Altium Designer 13, the silkscreen over component paths rule is being replaced with an upgraded version which will broaden the scope of what can be detected in the situations where silkscreen and solder mask openings attempt to share the same space. Along with this enhanced functionality, the rule category will now be called Silk to Solder Mask Clearance. Existing rules will be converted automatically, but the scope of the rule will be modified to maintain legacy behavior so that existing designs are not affected by this change without user intervention. This new rule ensures there is proper clearance between the silkscreen and either the copper exposed by a solder mask opening or clearance versus solder mask openings themselves. This is determined by the clearance checking mode set within the rule. Let's take a look at both of these modes in action. Starting with the clearance to exposed copper, I have modified the converted manufacturing rule, allowing it to affect the entire PCB and left it at the default value of 10 mils. This rule will flag a violation for any silkscreen object within 10 mils of any copper exposed on the same side of the PCB the silkscreen is placed on. Let's move this pad into place so we can trigger a rule violation and take a closer look. We can see here that the rule does not kick in simply for having an opening in the solder mask. In this mode, a violation is only triggered if exposed copper is encountered on the same side. We can also observe the behavior of this rule in regards to the top layer track running through the logo here, noting that it only triggers a violation when it encounters the portion of the logo which is exposed by the fill placed directly on the solder mask layer. Now let's take a look at the other mode for clearance to solder mask openings. This rule does not distinguish if copper exists or not. It simply checks the silkscreen primitives to the edge of any solder mask opening, using the value we give it. I'll go ahead and change this to 3 mils. Again, let's move a few objects around to trigger and clear some rule violations under these new conditions. We can see here that the rule triggers a violation anytime any silkscreen primitive gets near a solder mask opening on the same side of the PCB. As boards go to manufacture, areas like this may have the silkscreen trimmed, which can sometimes lead to illegible silkscreen text in trimmed areas. With this new expanded design rule check, you can detect and adjust your silkscreen locations for these occurrences prior to sending the board to manufacture, confident that your silkscreen will come back as you designed it.